Good morning. Today we are continuing on with those X and Y intercepts, doing CO53. I can identify the X-intercept and the Y-intercept of a line given an equation. So yesterday we looked at the graph and it was really easy to see where those intercepts were because it's where it crossed the Y-axis and where it crossed the X-axis. Now, there's not going to be any graphs. Now we're just given an equation. So let's look at what we know. What is true about every ordered pair for the X-intercept? What do we always know? Hadley? The Y equals 0. So what is true for every single Y-intercept, Christina? The X is going to equal 0. This is super important for us to remember as we solve these equations for the Y and the X-intercepts. So the above answers are important because it helps us understand why we do what we do when solving an equation for the X-intercept and the Y-intercept. So to find the X-intercept, we're going to solve for X when Y equals 0. And the opposite for the Y-intercept, we're going to solve for Y when X equals 0. So I'm going to show us what that means. So write it out and then we're going to put it in action to see how we do that. So these equations are in a different form. We're going to start using X's and Y's, two variables in our equations. And this is the standard form. AX plus BY equals C. And we're going to use this to help us identify those intercepts. So it's super important that we remember this equation. AX plus BY equals that C. I'm going to scroll up so you can see better. If it'll erase from there we go. So I'm just going to rewrite that. AX plus BY equals C. And we can see that these equations are set up that same way. Now remember what we said at the top. To find the X-intercept, we're going to solve for X when Y equals 0. Anybody have a guess how we're going to use that to find our X-intercept here? I'm going to cut it into two sections because we're going to find the X-intercept and we're going to find the Y-intercept. How do you think I do that, Hadley? Yeah. So I'm going to put a 0 in for that Y. So I'm going to rewrite my equation, 3x plus 8, but instead of the Y, I'm putting 0, and that equals 24. Now I'm going to solve it for that X. So I know 3x plus 8 times 0, what's 8 times 0? 0. So I don't even have to write that. I can just say 3x equals 24. So I don't have to add 0 to it. What do I do next to solve for x? Harper? Yeah, so if I do opposite operations, what am I going to do, Harper? Divide what? I'm going to divide both sides by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. So I'm left with just that 1x, which is x. What's 24 divided by 3? Christina? 8. So now, if I need to put my X-intercept, how do I write my X-intercept using the information that I know from here? Remember, the intercepts I always put how? What did we do yesterday, Hadley? As an ordered pair. Eleanor, how am I going to fill that in? Sorry, say that again.
8.
X is 8, Y was 0. So my x-intercept is 8, 0. So now we need to do almost the same thing for the y-intercept. There's going to be one big difference. What's the one big difference I have to do here, David?
The x is on 0.
I'm going to put the 0 in for the x this time. So I'm going to rewrite my equation. 3 times 0 plus 8y equals 24. 3 times 0 is what? 0, so I don't have to rewrite that. So I have 8y equals 24. What's my next step? Christina? I'm going to do that opposite operations and divide both sides by 8. 8 divided by 8 is 1. So I can just write my y. What's 24 divided by 8? Robbie? 3. Am I done? What do I have to do, Michael? I'm going to put it into my ordered pair. So what is my ordered pair for my y-intercept, Luke?
0 and then 3.
0 for the x, a 3 for the y. Now some of us are going to say, ooh, I can do mental math with this. I can just figure this out quick and easy. What am I going to say to that? Christina, why are you shaking your head no? Why am I going to say no mental math? So, we go too fast, we make simple mistakes. If we don't get in the habit of writing it out when we get to more complicated problems, all of a sudden we don't know what to do. I have us do it step by step for an important reason, because I know what's coming, truly. This is where I started getting kids last year going, oh my goodness, I've been doing mental math all year, now I have no idea what to do. I don't know how to solve this, Mrs. Gideon. I'm so lost. I've been passing all my objectives, and now all of a sudden I got 0 out of 0 on this objective. What is going on? And I say, well, remember when all the time, all year long, I said, stop doing mental math, get in the habit of writing it out, and you refused, and you thought you knew more than I did, and you were better than I am at math, so you didn't have to do it. Came back to bite them, right? I seriously had kids that were just flabbergasted that they all of a sudden didn't know how to do math. It's because they didn't go step by step. I'm not telling you to do this to make you do more work. I don't want our hands getting tired. I'm not trying to overload us with doing busy work. This is important that we go step by step so we don't make those simple mistakes. So we understand the process, so when it gets more complicated, we're not confused. We know the process, we're going to be comfortable with the process, and we can use the process. So I want to see you writing out your x and y intercepts, writing out every step that you're doing so you understand it, because it will get more complicated. Your final answers should be in the ordered pairs. So I know your x-intercept is labeled on top, and it's 8, 0. Your y-intercept is labeled on top, and it is 0, 3. Do not forget how to work with negative numbers. All right, those negatives come on back, they keep coming back. Remember, multiplying, dividing with negative numbers, how that works, because a 3 and a negative 3 are in different quadrants on our graph, so it matters. If we have minus 8, so if we're looking at this, I put a 0 in for my x here, so I have minus 8y equals negative 80. What does that minus 8 become? A negative 8. So if you see a minus, that turns it into a negative. Minus and negative are the same. You can't just call it 8y, because it was minus 8y, so a negative 8y. So don't get confused by that. And the same thing down here, this one, we can see right away it's negative. Okay, it's not minus, it's negative, they mean the same thing. So make sure you're keeping those negatives with your numbers. We will be using decimals. Okay, so you might need that calculator with some of that. Trying to think if there's any other ones to point out. All the rest is pretty much the same. How are we feeling about finding the x and y intercepts? Should we do one more together, or are you ready to get going? We're looking like we're feeling pretty confident. Okay, if you have questions, come and check. So if you do the second one, and you can come up and check, did I find the right x and y intercepts? Did I do it right? Okay, so this quiet work time, you can come and check. Remember, for both of them, I should see all of the work. So this is not what I put up there, is it? So you need to, your first one should have x-intercept with everything written out. Y-intercept with everything written out. How I set it up here is how I want you to set it up. Truly, I will not give credit tomorrow if you are not showing all of your work. So I do not want people to do mental math and say, done, I've got it. Show your work or you don't get credit. If you run out of room, because it gets a little squished, you could do the middle section on that page before, where we have all that empty space right next to, no, just right there. Okay, so you can just rewrite it on that middle space on that page before if you run out of space. Some of us are good at writing our numbers smaller, some of us are more comfortable with more space. Use that page before empty space if you need to. Go ahead and work on it. Come see me if you have questions. I'm gonna walk around and make sure that people are setting it up correctly. If you are watching at home, I hope you are well. I hope to see you soon. Have a wonderful day.